Hello, welcome back. I'm Byron. This is Sid Meier's Civilization 3 Conquest. We're playing as the Persians on the Rise of Rome campaign. And it appears we are getting stomped. The Gauls have come for us, the Scythians have come for us, the Egyptians have come for us. We're beating the Macedonians, but the Romans are beating them more, which is not good. So, you better figure out something if you want to win this game. Today's topic that I picked out is autism. Autism's a pretty heavy topic. So because of that, and because it'd be impossible to go completely in depth on autism in any way, I don't go in depth on anything, I guess, in 20 minutes. But since autism is especially difficult, for this one I did not do any sort of research. And about autism and other mental disorders, a lot of people talk about these without knowing anything about them. Sorry, I'm just flipping through my notebook here, just looking at some stuff I've written. Anyway, autism. A lot of people will talk about autism and other disorders without really knowing much about them. And I guess I'm doing the same thing. The difference is I'm acknowledging that I don't know much about them. And I'm just sort of talking about the way it comes to me. Which is probably the way it comes to most people listening, if anyone's listening. One interesting thing, and it's something that maybe we don't know so much, that other people maybe don't get so much. It's not sort of the pop culture, it's sort of in between pop culture autism and scientific clinical autism. And that is a book that came out a few years back called The Reason I Jump. It was written by an autistic kid, and he can't talk, I don't think, but his mother invented, he's from an Asian country, and so their words were differently than ours in English. His mother invented a sort of keyboard thing that allows him to communicate, which allowed him ultimately to write a book and explain what severe, I guess what he has, severe autism is like. It's a good book, I recommend it. It's very exciting. Just reading it, I could not put it down. I was pacing back and forth. I don't know what made that book so great, but it was amazing. With that said, I'm not sure how important a book it is because I don't actually remember much about it. One thing I do remember is he was talking about where he repeats questions that he's been asked. And what he says is that he thinks what happens is that he tries to remember a similar situation. When someone asks him a question, he tries to think back and remember a similar question he's been asked and answer it similarly. Which is actually, I get that personally. because I often have trouble with conversations that I'm not anticipating. If someone will come up and talk to me and I wasn't expecting them to, I'm not going to be very responsive. Or if I start a conversation with someone and they go a different route than I thought the conversation was going to go, I have trouble with that. And I'm just cruising through this. I'm about halfway through my notes. It's only been 5 minutes. That brings me to the one of the central points is, do I have autism? I don't think so. This goes to people talking about autism who don't know much about it, and that people will see someone who's just a little antisocial and they'll assume, oh, he has autism. I mean, I don't think someone with autism could sit here and talk even with no one there, just into a microphone and to the internet the way I am right now. I don't think that's possible to do. Well, maybe it is possible. Again, I don't know. But when you see someone just a little antisocial who sits in a corner and reads when everyone else is talking, I'll talk sometimes, but sometimes I'd rather read. And I'd say, personally, I don't find it offensive when people say I have autism, but it may be offensive to people who actually have it to throw the term around so willy-nilly. And just, you shouldn't diagnose people with autism unless you're qualified to, or any mental disorder, for that matter. That's what I think. I don't think you should just throw it around like that. It should be taken a bit more seriously. But of course, it should be taken less seriously than some people take it. I guess that's true with most things, and it has a lot to do with personal opinion. Everyone in the world, except one person, the person who takes it the most seriously, thinks that there are people who take autism too seriously. And everyone in the world, except one other person, the person who takes autism the most frivolously, thinks that there are some people who take autism too frivolously. And that's true of everything. So it's just, I wonder what percentile I stand. Well, let's see. That's an interesting question about my opinion on. I take autism. My alarm's going off. My alarm, it goes off every day. Doesn't bother me though, because it's 7:50 or whatever time it is. I'm usually awake. And it's nice. I sort of know what time it is whenever it goes off. It's pretty cool. So back to autism. Let's actually look at the game. I took Sardis, which was probably their strongest city left. Macedon's strongest city. The horsemen. I wonder if they don't have the resources to build heavy cab anymore. This game is going very, very badly. I just got bogged down too much in the beginning. The Scythians, are they at war with me? I forget. I don't think so. They're going into Macedon. Maybe to Rome to attack them. Oh, and I checked. The Scythian leader is Atius, who I've never heard of. Not Tomyris. Like I said, I absolutely love to learn more. I'm just yawning. I'm not taking this seriously anymore, am I? I absolutely love to learn more about Tamiris. I'd go all autism on some of that knowledge. Oh, I do say that sometimes, don't I? I'm going to go all autism on this. But, and again, that's disrespectful. Although at the same time it's lighthearted, and it's sort of, maybe people with autism might like it if you take it a little less seriously. And I assume some people would, some people wouldn't. It's difficult to pin down. Oh, where was I? I think that autism, how people perceive autism, they think that by overdiagnosing it, you're actually being frivolous about it. You're not taking it seriously, which is what I already said about it needs to be taken seriously. But understanding autism and allowing autistic people to be functioning members of our society is important. That's pretty much what it is. I think rather than fixing the autistic people, we should fix society. That's sort of a grandiose statement, I guess, but that's maybe a good thing, and maybe for a lot of things, I think. I was a little off-put, because a while back the whole gay people getting married thing was a thing. And people were... I remember the first time I heard that people... it's interesting. People... that gay, homosexuality used to be considered a mental disorder. I remember thinking, so what? I mean, what's so bad? Basically, by getting upset and saying it's somehow homophobic to categorize homosexuality as a mental disorder, is really offensive to people with mental disorders. I mean, it does fit a lot of the... It's a way people interact with each other that's different from what is the social norm, from what is, normal. It's not that... which is exactly, to me, what a mental or behavioral disorder is. There's nothing wrong with having one. It's just different from the way most people do things. And that's what homosexuality is. Now, I'm not saying homosexuality should be a mental disorder, and the idea... And if your idea of mental disorder is that it needs to be treated and the people with it need to be fixed rather than society, then yeah, of course homosexuality shouldn't be a mental disorder, but so should a lot of other things that are mental disorders not be mental disorder, like autism. I don't, and here's basically my next note, is it a bad thing? I don't think so. I think there's value. There's value in the people who have autism, and just because we don't see it doesn't mean it's not there. And just because maybe they aren't valuable right now. Maybe we don't need people with autism, but someday maybe we don't need people. I'm skipping steps here. Maybe autistic people don't contribute to society. Maybe they don't. Let's assume they don't, for the sake of argument. It doesn't mean that they shouldn't be a part of society, just because they're human beings, and they should be allowed to be who they are, and not be told to change, not to be told they need to change. And this is what a lot of people were saying about gay people a while back, and I think it's true of almost every single mental disorder. I was reading about paranoid schizophrenia, where people hear voices in their heads. I think, and that causes people to hurt other people when they hear the voices that tell them to hurt other people. And I don't fully understand it, because if a real person, because these visions seem real to them, and if a real person was telling you to hurt someone else, you wouldn't do it. But yet somehow, because these visions are telling them, they do it. So there is something I'm not understanding about paranoid schizophrenia. I'll admit that. But let's ignore the evidence for the moment that people who hear these voices go on to hurt other people in an empirical way. Let's forget about that. And let's just assume that we know there are people who hear voices and that aren't there. We don't think they're there. How do we know they're not there? But that's the topic for another time. Let's just, for everybody's sake, say they're not there. And is that wrong? No, there's nothing wrong with them. They should be allowed to be a part of society. And they should be functioning members of society, and we should accept them for who they are, for all the voices and stuff that they hear. Whew, I didn't know I'd be so passionate about this. And if society can't accept them, then it's society that should change, not them. They should be allowed to be who they are. What was it? Although I'm treading on parody here, because I don't know if this is real or if I imagined it, but I think there was a TV show where someone said, "I have tolerance disorder. I'm incapable of tolerating others. I need to be accommodated," or something. Which I kind of get that, but I don't know. I can't work this out perfectly. There are problems with the things I'm saying, and I admit that. Anyway, so is autism a bad thing? Okay, so let's assume that the autistic people provide no benefit to society. I think I skipped ahead. I didn't do this in the order I probably should have. But I believe that if they don't now, they will someday. If we could somehow chemically get rid of, I don't it doesn't have to be chemical, but if we could just push a magic button and get rid of autism, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Because I think that it's not a disorder. It's a personality, and it's a beneficial one. I wouldn't have people be who they're not, and I already talked about this. And what about the people who are autistic and don't want to be? I don't know. I am the kind of person who's happy with who I am, and it's difficult for me to understand people who aren't. And if they're not, and they want help, I guess help should be there to help them change, if that's what they want. But I would be suspicious that these people are not being pressured. This is all very theoretical at this point. I basically, like I said, I didn't do any research. I'm basically ignoring the way autism works in the real world. But I would be suspicious of an autistic person who wants help, that they were pressured into wanting help because someone else wanted them to change rather than themselves. But let's say that wasn't true and they did want help, I guess it should be there for them. Whew. That was amazing. I really hope some people see this video, because I had a lot of fun saying those things. So anyway, in the future we may need them, and even if we never ever need them, even if somehow we knew that they would never be any benefit to society, they're human beings, and they should be loved and accepted for who they are. There we go. I haven't talked much about the game today because I thought I was gonna. I still have a bit of time left to kill, and I have a few more notes. Oh, that was really fun. I'd love to do this again, to be able to talk passionately about something, even though no one's listening. I wonder if I can get this transcribed somehow, because it's some powerful stuff. At least to me. I was really happy to do that. Anyway, and like I said, I don't know. It may be difficult. I don't know what it's like to be autistic, and it's a struggle. And for the autistic people, I still go back to what I said before, and that the struggle is society's fault, not yours. But for the loved ones of the autistic person, that's a struggle I don't understand, and I did not incorporate into what I said. And so I'd just like to say that I don't know everything. I could be wrong, and if I could be wrong, and you know, you out there, anyone listening who has autism or who has a loved one with autism, you know better than I do. You know what's right. Always do the right thing. And yeah. So I could talk a little bit. I have a little bit of extra time. I could talk a little bit about vaccines and autism. Vaccines do not cause autism. Well, that's enough of that. I will say that if it was 20 years ago, oh, that was nasty snot. If it was 20 years ago and that original study had just come out, I would definitely say, hey, let's not vaccinate people for a little bit. Yeah, let's do some more research. Let's figure this out before we go forward. And I won't get into this now, but scientific research makes some mistakes, but they definitely did the right thing here. And this is something where there was definitely a risk involved, and they needed to act, and they did. They did exactly what scientists are supposed to do. They saw some data, they did some experiments, and they found the truth. And at some point, I may say negative things about science. I love science. There's just some things that are wrong with it, and but this isn't one of them. They did, and science itself is perfect. Not really, but the problem is when people don't do science right, and then still say it's science, which even the best, the greatest scientists do. Which even I would do if I was a scientist, which even I do when I think I'm applying science. And maybe 20 years ago they didn't take it seriously enough. At least, maybe not. Maybe the scientists took it seriously enough, but the people, the doctors and the politicians, it's such a cliche thing to say. Maybe we should have stopped giving vaccines for a little bit, because we didn't know. And I think that would have been fine, because we could have done it again later. We could have given more vaccines later. Everything would have been okay. Well, I can't say that. Um, and so maybe the fact that people didn't take it seriously enough is now biting us now. But vaccines don't cause autism, and who cares? Autism is not a bad thing. I'm mostly saying that stuff because it's a different viewpoint, and it needs to be said. If everyone was saying this, then I probably wouldn't be. I'd probably be saying, hey, it's a real struggle and we need to, I don't know. But I had a lot of fun. I had more fun recording this one than I have ever. And I was a little worried about this one. But I think it turned out alright. Well, until it's time to go, thanks for watching. We're attacking the new capital. This is what I do. Whenever I take the capital, I go straight for whatever was made the new capital, and then on and on and on. Anyway, that's enough. See you later. Bye.